WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 11.
Major implications for airlines as the record-setting government shutdown continues. It's our top story at 11. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rachel Ramsey. More than 1,000 flights were canceled Friday as a result of the shutdown. CBS News' Andres Gutierrez has more.
Tonight, long lines and frustration from coast to coast. Airports are under strain. The FAA ordering airlines to cut flights up to 10% at 40 of the nation's busiest airports by Friday. What do you make out of all these cancellations and delays?
It's not what we want it to be. Try and make your flight and be prepared for some gate changes like we're checking constantly.
New York's JFK, Charlotte, and Chicago slammed by staffing shortages. Air traffic controllers working with no pay during the shutdown are calling out sick. Today, there were delays of more than 4 hours at Newark Airport in New Jersey and up to 2-hour delays at San Francisco.
It seems like there's a lot of cancellations on these connecting flights. So yeah, I'm definitely a little bit nervous.
Southwest, United, Delta, and American Airlines have the most cancellations today.
Aviation is so critical to the U.S. economy, to our traveling public, and it's just imperative that we get the government back open.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says reducing congestion is the only way to keep the skies safe.
They're the ones that are working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. You can do that for a couple weeks, but at one point you're going to get burned out, and that's what we're seeing now.
Secretary Duffy warns a number of flight cuts could double to 20% if the shutdown drags into Thanksgiving. Your message to lawmakers up in D.C.
I hope you guys get it right, man. Get it together.
Now, travelers are urged to check their flight information early and often. You should know that many airlines are waiving their rebooking fees, but if this all messes up your plans and you don't want to rebook, you are entitled to a full refund. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And as Andres Gutierrez also reports, this ongoing government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history, is continuing to impact SNAP recipients. SNAP benefits for the month of November remain in jeopardy.
Senators returned to Capitol Hill on Saturday for a weekend session aimed at bringing the government shutdown to an end. President Trump is in Florida, but before leaving Washington, he reiterated he wants Senate Republicans to break the filibuster to reopen the government.
We have a shutdown, as you probably know, because the Democrats have gone, they're crazy. They're crazy, but they don't care if they hurt the country.
On Friday, Democrats offered a compromise to reopen the government in exchange for a 1-year extension of health care tax credits, but the proposal was rejected by Republicans. SNAP payments for the month of November remain in jeopardy because of the shutdown. Late Friday, the Supreme Court temporarily allowed the Trump administration to withhold about $4 billion in payments for SNAP food assistance that a federal judge had previously ordered to be paid. 1 in 8 Americans rely on SNAP benefits.
This is the first time I've actually ever been on public assistance in my adult life. And we held out pretty much as long as we possibly could. We used our savings, we used family, some credit cards.
The ongoing shutdown is causing a nightmare for flyers. The FAA ordered airlines to cut flights at 40 of the nation's busiest airports beginning Friday, causing more than 1,000 cancellations and more than 20,000 delays.
I mean, travel is stressful enough, and then you put these disruptions in place, and it really makes everything more challenging.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said the flight reductions will ramp up in the coming days in an effort to reduce the pressure on air traffic controllers. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The federal government has now been shut down for 39 days, and SNAP benefits for the month of November remain in flux for many Michiganders. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled the Trump administration can temporarily withhold about $4 billion in payments for the program that a federal judge had previously ordered to be used. Before the SCOTUS ruling, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services issued full benefits on Thursday to more than 200,000 households. The Trump administration claims it doesn't have the funds to issue benefits, saying the contingency reserve has already been used, which was enough to provide only partial food assistance for the month. In response, MDHHS says it will continue its pause of payment distribution for those who have not yet received this month's benefits. Jenny Polak is the executive director of Michigan 211, a free service that connects residents with help from thousands of health and human services agencies and resources. She says the organization has taken 1,000 calls more than they usually get this time of year.
The past week, we saw a tremendous increase in calls and specifically for folks needing help with food. That was a 200% increase that we felt last week.
Meanwhile, President Trump's overall job approval is down since October and has flipped since his re-election. That's according to a new Emerson College poll. 41% of the people surveyed approved of the job the president is doing in office. That's down 4 points since last month. And when it comes to the 2026 midterm elections, 44% of those polled say they would vote for the Democratic candidate as opposed to 40% who would vote for the Republican. More than half say they are more motivated to vote than usual, while 12% say they are less motivated. To view all statistics from the poll, you can head to our website, WLNS.com. Well, according to the state of Michigan, more than 3,500 people are currently reported missing to law enforcement. In Mason this afternoon, relatives of those missing people gathered at the Missing in Michigan event to talk about their cases and support each other while they look for answers. Organizers say Missing in Michigan was founded in 2010 as a way for people to find resources and advocacy for their missing persons cases. Jessica Johnson was one of the dozens of relatives there speaking on her father's case, Richard Johnson, who went missing almost 3 years ago at the age of 63. Jessica says he was last seen at the Plum Tree Apartments in Delta Township, and she hopes his disappearance will finally come to an end.
He's almost a cold case. We've had no leads, no tips, absolutely nothing. It takes a toll on your mental health, extremely, and if you don't take care of yourself, it can get rough, that's for sure.
Johnson hopes someone will eventually come out and reveal the whereabouts of her father, who she says left without a trace. There is a scam going around Meridian Township that police say has to do with fake emails. The department says people are pretending to be township officials and are asking for a wire transfer. Officials want to remind you, township leaders will never request wire transfers for any reason, and if you get an email like this, let the Meridian Township Police Department know. Well, it is that time of year where we're focusing on remarkable women, an opportunity to recognize the women of Mid-Michigan who not only make a difference for their families, but also their communities. So now we want to hear about the remarkable woman in your life. To nominate someone, just head to the Remarkable Women icon on our website, WLNS.com. We will pick several women to profile during Women's History Month in March. You have until December 19th to nominate someone.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Temperatures were able to get into the mid-40s today, which is about 8 to 10 degrees cooler for what we should be for this time of year. Our high temperature got to 44 in Lansing, 45 in Jackson, and 45 in Hillsdale. So our current temperatures, we have dropped quite a bit, only in the low 30s across the board, where we're sitting at 30 in Lansing, 30 in Marshall, and 31 down there in Coldwater. As far as precision cast goes, we have some snow that is on the way, and that's going to start affecting the area going into your day for tomorrow. You notice by I-94, that's where we had the most snow falling at that time, and it's going to just kind of wrap its way around going in for the rest of the day. You might get some bands coming off of Lake Huron that might add additional accumulation going into tomorrow, but it won't be significant by any means. You notice we go into Monday, though, we start to clear out on Monday morning, and then we'll have additional chances of some snow showers that will move into the Lansing area going into later on the afternoon. But it'll be hit or miss, and not everyone's going to be seeing the snow showers, and it won't add up to much more. And then going into the rest of your rest of your Monday, we'll have additional showers, and then going into Tuesday, we'll finally start to clear out in the area. For as much as we're going to see, though, not a lot, about a trace to an inch. This is the first snow, so we will, get some grassy accumulations for tomorrow. But, places around I-94 will get closer to the 1 to 2 inch mark, but still not very significant. I think our roads are going to be fine. And then we have those additional bands that might be coming off of Lake Huron. That might add about a ½ inch to the inch of what we already have on top of that, but again, not looking that significant at this time. What is pretty significant, though, are those temperatures. We're going to be cooling down quite a bit. So Sunday at 8 a.m., we have temperatures in the low 20s, as it feels like. And then going for the rest of the day, we stay in the 20s for your feels like temperatures. But then notice by Monday morning, it feels like 12 degrees when you're stepping out the door. So you definitely really want to bundle up as you're heading out the door on Monday morning. And then even for the rest of the afternoon on your Monday, temperatures are still in the low 20s. So it's going to be a chilly one. Looking at the high temperature trend though, it does rebound quite a bit though. As we get into next week, we'll finally start to see some temperatures in the 50s, so that'll feel much nicer from what we have right now. But for tonight, we drop down to 31 degrees. I'll mix the snow with winds coming out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And then as we go into tomorrow though, our high temperature will only reach 37 degrees. We'll have the snow showers, and winds will be coming out of the north at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Looking at your 6-day forecast, so you do see that we have a weather aware day for your Sunday because of that first snow, and then we do only get up to 34 on your Monday. The rest of the 6-day does not look too bad. We start to rebound quite a bit with our temperatures going into Thursday and Friday, and we'll have the sun to start to come back out. Your 6+6-day forecast shows 50s next week with an additional chance of rain showers coming next Sunday.